How's it going? Thank you for joining us. We're gonna give everybody a chance to get signed in that's able to join us tonight. And we'll get started promptly at 6 o'clock. So a couple minutes and we'll get started. Because our time, your time is valuable.
And
right?
it's gorgeous outside.
It is.
And the fact that you're spending it with us right now is just, I'm very impressed and celebrate you for taking this time to learn a little something.
Absolutely.
It is not exactly the topic we thought we were going to be sharing, is it?
No, it is not. It's surprise.
Surprise.
But needed.
Agreed, but needed, but timely.
Right. And we might have a few log in, a few minutes late. That happens too.
Yeah, and the real benefit of recording this is that if you signed up but couldn't attend, we'll follow it up with the recording and you'll get all the information later.
Absolutely. And that's what's really important is just getting the information.
That's right.
For sure. So Kathleen, I think you've joined us before for some of our webinars and we appreciate that.
Guess what?
It's 6 o'clock.
It's 6 o'clock.
All right. Well, we're going to get started here.
Where focus goes, energy flows. I love that. I agree with
Yes.
that. So thanks for giving us a little bit of your energy today. And we are gonna go ahead and get our webinar started. What do you think, Sheri?
I'm ready to go.
Hi, Chevelle. Thank you. Welcome.
Yes, thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen and then we're going to get right into tonight's topic. Because as we shared just a minute ago, it's a beautiful night out and we appreciate you joining us tonight. And we just want to be able to get you out and enjoy some of that sunshine.
So while Sheri's doing this, I'm Susan McGinty and this is my amazing colleague, Shannon. And so this is, as is every month, your opportunity to ask questions and to jump in. So we're going to get started with this deck, wherever it is.
Well,
And it was working perfectly 5 minutes ago.
yeah, it was. We promise it was. I'm Shannon and I'm a certified financial coach here at the U of I Credit Union. And Susan and I just love getting together with you guys once a month to talk about all things financial wellness. And let's hope that this works.
Come on.
Why is this not working?
Come on. Or else it might not be the beautiful presenter mode. It might just be in old school mode.
Yeah.
3 is a charm.
Yeah. And maybe we're just going to do it this way.
3 is a charm. One last time.
We're just going to do it this way.
Are we gonna do it this?
Yeah, we're just going to do it this way because for some reason it does not want to work for us tonight.
Okay. And you
So,
know what? That's how it is in life.
Yeah,
Oh, you want to try it again though?
I do.
Okay, that's funny.
All right. Yeah.
All right, now we're really going back and we're gonna get this thing
Yeah.
started and you're gonna get to sneak at our upcoming slides. But that's okay because this particular topic is very meaty. If you've joined us before, you know that we like to have a conversation and we don't want to do death by PowerPoint. We try to have a lot of visual, which we still have, but there's a lot of text. And it's because recognizing and avoiding scams is really important. And one of the things that Sheri and I were talking about when we were getting this PowerPoint together was we want this to be a resource for you all. You do not need to memorize all of it. You just need to have some of the big highlights. And I hope you never need this information, but if you do, you will have a copy of it in your inbox. And this will be really solid information for you to have.
Absolutely. And it's, I apologize that we're not sharing quite the way we normally do, but like Susan said, the most important thing is that you're getting this information because it is timely. We are excited to get it out to you. So we're going to move forward. We are interrupting our regularly scheduled program to bring you this important message.
We were going to talk about summer spending. We were so excited to get into the summer vibe and match the weather and just kind of help you all save some money. But I will tell you, fraud is happening right now. And it's happening not just, to credit union members, but to banking members all over the country. And because we know that this is timely and we know that this is happening, we just thought it was very important to switch up our topics and to bring you some of this fraud information.
Absolutely. So we are just going to move right on. Oh my gosh, what do those guys do with our information? Well, they go on, do some crazy stuff with it. I mean, some very harmful things with it, right? Go ahead.
No, yes. I mean, they're very sophisticated. This is their careers. They take it very seriously. This is the fraudsters. Every time we figure it out, they just get clever.
Yeah.
And they learn how to do it differently, and they're constantly evolving. But one of the things we were talking about was they can drain your bank account. That's your hard cash. And unlike a credit card, which is not your actual physical dollars, your paychecks, it's a credit line.
Mm-hmm.
This could be your real cash money that could be tied up so that when you're trying to pay your mortgage, your car payment, your utilities, your food, they could drain that.
It's scary.
It is
how
scary.
They can access our liquid cash. And we all know money, times are tough with money, right? Everybody's having trouble with having enough money just to buy the groceries and put gas in the car. And inflation is a big thing. So protecting your liquid funds, your checking account is so important. They can access your liquid cash if you're not careful. They can run up charges on your credit cards, open up new lines of credit. This is why it's really important to review your credit report, not just your credit score, but your credit report often, at least once a month. And we're going to give you a resource for that at the end of this webinar. There's so much they can do. And, this list is really for your benefit in the future. We're not going to walk through everything here, but we really want to just bring your attention to all the things that fraudsters can do to you personally.
Exactly. All right, so here's your scam alert, and I'm going to own something with you all. We're going to go through some of these different scams, including the very first one. It's called spoofing, and I don't think they all need to see my story because you're going to see my story. I'm going to hear it. But I literally was visiting family out of state a couple of weeks ago. And so when you're traveling, it is occasionally you will see, you'll get phone calls alerting you about some of your spending. And I got a call like that on a Saturday afternoon. They seemed to know that I had been shopping. They had asked a question about me using a gas pump, an ATM, or a self-checkout. Sure enough, I had just used a self-checkout and I tried to use the tap feature. The tap feature didn't work. I used the chip, inserted my debit card, and they thought it was a skimmer. Long story short, it was a spoofer. So what does that mean? That means the fraudsters was able to spoof the credit union phone number. And so to me, when I saw that, I thought it was our fraud protection. That was wrong. So what I've learned from spoofing, because spoofing is the latest tool in their fraud toolkit, is what we need to do as consumers. We are very responsive humans, and not all of us, I can't be. If you get a phone on your cell phone and it is not a contact that you know, let voicemail pick it up. 9 times out of 10, if it's a fraud call, it will stop right there. If the fraudster does leave you a voicemail and leaves a phone number for you to call back, do not call that number back. Instead, go to your credit card or your debit card, turn it around, and call the number on the back of the card that you know and trust. So my whole thing is, let voicemail do the work and always call a number that you know and trust.
I think that's great, Susan. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Same, thank you.
You know, it's how we learn, right?
That's right.
And one other thing that's,
And I had no harm done, because although they were trying to get my credit card numbers, I did not give that to them. You never give your credit card numbers. And that was my red flag that I knew something was not on the up and up.
because they were asking you those questions.
That's right.
Okay. Well, and so phone calls is one way.
Yes.
Texting is another way that you can get spoofed. And so this is, we all get texts all the time. I get texts from, different vendors that I ask to send me texts, but every once in a while I'll get one that I don't recognize. It's not somebody that I thought I've engaged with. So I just delete and send them to junk. Do not click on any links. And it's really best, even if you think you know the sender, don't click on any links in those texts. Instead, go out to their website.
Very good.
Because exactly what they say they're sending you is on their website. So to protect yourself, you want to make sure that you're not clicking on links unless you are 100% sure that they are who they say they are. So be careful of those texts too. And if you get those texts, just delete and send to junk, and hopefully they'll just stop.
So these are a couple of other scam alerts. You want to share a little bit about some of the scam alerts?
So, one that I actually have had some experience with, not personally, but are the romance scams. And that's a scary one. And they really play on the vulnerability of us as humans, whether we've gone through a rough time or we're just lonely, but playing games on your phone is a lot of fun. We enjoy that. I love to play Words with Friends. Be careful who you play games with. I actually know of a situation where someone was scammed by playing Words with Friends. And so you want to be very, very careful about who you're playing with and how much information you're sharing with them and how involved you're getting with them on those games, because they're very savvy and they can pull you in, especially if you're in a vulnerable state.
Yeah, that's very good.
Employment scams are another one that we want to be very, very careful of. There are companies out there that will go pretend they're looking for new employees. They will put you through an interview process. They will tell you they want to hire you, and then they're going to ask you for all those employment information that they need, your name, your address, your social security number. And then you never hear from them again. And guess what? They have all your information.
They've just stolen your identity.
Yep, they have. And so you want to be very, very careful of that as well. And there's others here that you need to be aware of. Unemployment.
A phishing scam is email. We're going to show you some examples so you can be aware of some things that they will pretend to look like it is a website, but there are misspelled words, there are extra letters involved. The government imposter scams, and that is Social Security or IRS. And some of these scam alerts either are very sophisticated, like the customer service one that I received,
right?
Very high touch, could tell that I was getting a little annoyed and was questioning them, and they quickly backed off. Well, some of these government imposter scams, they can be very aggressive. So that is something to be aware. If somebody's ever getting aggressive with you, you shut that phone down. Because there is nobody who's trained in customer service that should be showing up that aggressive.
Well, and an example, a couple of examples of government imposter scams are Social Security.
Right.
Calling, saying that, whatever, they need this information from you. But the other is IRS. If you don't do this, you're not going to get your refund. Or, somebody has, impersonated you and gotten your refund, and we need to verify your information. So they lead you to believe that they're legit, but you just need to be very, very careful about who you're giving. Never, ever give personal information out over the phone.
4 signs that this is indeed a scam. A scammer will pretend to be from an organization similar to the one that I received the phone call that they knew that I banked at the credit union. And again, that is something that they're using to try to get your trust.
Absolutely. Maybe it's a prize. Maybe you're getting, that one, that's one that a lot of us may see through email is you've won this big prize and they just need you to follow up with this information or click this link. And that link can actually put viruses on your computer that can get your personal information.
And that's ransomware. And that was talked about in the scam alert. The
Absolutely.
scammers will aggressively pressure you. They will apply urgency. Nothing in life is urgent. Nothing is urgent. So that is an awareness that if somebody is acting very urgent and pressuring you, that's not right.
Right, exactly. And they're going to tell you to pay in a specific way. They're going to be very specific about how they want you to pay. And so be very, very careful about that too. Be careful if they ask you, especially to send them money in a gift card, something that can't be tracked or traced. And recognizing the red flags. So this is really, really important. This is how they get us. So when you get receiving emails or texts that are urgency, again, that urgency, that red flag urgency, misspellings. Susan mentioned that you want to really watch your emails and texts for misspellings, grammar issues. If you've got a link, hover over that link and see where does it really take you.
That's right. And that's something to remember is things are, you'll see that kind of blue lettering, and that means that it's been hyperlinked. You can always hover on top of it and it will let you know where that website is. And Sheri talked about it earlier. When in doubt, go to the web and actually type in the real website. Don't use that link. It's just like phone calling, right? You want to call a number you know and trust. You want to make sure you're going to a website that you've originated in a Google browser or another browser from that you actually know and trust as well.
Absolutely. I think that's really good. You're asked to pay money in order to receive a prize or get a job. That's one that, a lot of people, you would not think that that's something that scammers, will get a lot of traction from, but they really do. This is a time where we're feeling the pinch in our wallets, money's tight. And if somebody's going to give us money, we're, very tempted to jump on that, make it, but remember, nothing's easy. That is not that easy. Nobody is going to give you money.
If it's too good to be true, it is.
Absolutely.
Scare tactics. This one is really scary. And I've actually read about this, and some of our, grandmas and grandpas, great grandmas and grandpas can really fall victim to this because they use a loved one and talk about somebody being in danger. And that's something to be very aware of. Again, they're using high pressure, urgent techniques. It's just a different way of doing it. And it's building that awareness, guys. And those of you that are listening to this, it's sharing with your friends and family, but it's almost like shocking to know that they could use that type of scare tactic and use your own family members as somebody that they could try to get that trust and get you to do something for them.
And how do they know who our family members are?
Social media.
Social media.
It's all
That's right.
over.
It is. And so really protecting yourself, protect your family the best way you can, and just really don't let into those scare tactics. Verify, verify, verify. And remember, anybody that's legit law enforcement is not going to ask for all that personal information anyway. All right. Avoiding those scams. Block unwanted calls and text messages. You can block them. If you get those phone calls that you don't know who they're from and they don't leave a voicemail, then go back into your recents. You can bring it up and you can scroll down and you can block all those calls. Block that number. They won't call back. So they might find another number to use, but continue to block those and never give your personal information out.
The credit union will never call you asking you for personal information. We know your information. They will not be calling you. A Ameren bill will not ask you for your personal information. So remember that if somebody is asking you for personal information on a phone call and they're applying any type of urgency or high pressure, hang up that phone.
I like this one here. Never deposit a check and send money back to someone.
Oh, that's a good
Number one, never deposit a check if you don't know where it came from.
That's right.
But so many times scammers will have you deposit a check into your account, and then for some reason they want you to send money back. Real story. My husband was trying to sell something on eBay about 5 years ago. And right away, he got somebody that was interested. And the guy said, I'm sending you a check. And when you get it, then we'll work on getting the item to me. The next day, he contacted him and he said, oh, my accounting department sent you the wrong check. And it's for $500 more than what I agreed to pay for your item. So I need you to cash that check and then send me that $500. Well, right away, that was a red flag.
100%.
So it's very, very important that you're very careful about knowing who you're working with and dealing with. And if you're going to deposit a check for someone, make sure it clears your account first, because that check isn't going to clear if it's fraudulent.
That's right. So now, how do you protect yourself? We've said it, but we're going to say it again. Never click a link or open an attachment unless you know it's from somebody that you know, and it's something that you feel confident that this is appropriate for you to have. If it is unknown and it's an email, don't click on it. Don't open that attachment, because that can apply the ransomware on your computer.
You talked about not disclosing personal information, and that's another, just another way to protect yourself. Asking yourself the questions: have you done business with this company before? Do you know this sender of the email or text? Before you ever respond. And if you don't, just delete them, get rid of them.
Here's another one. And, we talk about this from a budgeting perspective, because we want to bring awareness to the way we're spending, and looking at your statements and your credit cards helps you know. But the other reason why you should is to make sure the charges that are showing up on your statement are actually charges that you initiated. They could be a fraud that they've got your credit card, and they don't always jump to $1,000 spend. Sometimes they'll do $1.99, 99 cents, $2.99. It's these small little charges that they're trying to sneak under the radar before they do charge up more. So another good reason to read your statements, your credit cards, and your bank statements. Go to home banking and just look at your debit cards and your credit cards, is to ensure that these are charges you've done.
Absolutely. That's a good tip. And if it's too good to be true, it probably
I'm sorry.
is.
I
Yeah.
know. Free money just sounds fabulous, but there is no real thing as free money unless you won the lottery, in which case that's a whole nother story.
Susan, talk to us about setting up a fraud alert.
Okay, I know about this one too. So we're going to share a resource at the end called annualcreditreport.com. It is a website that was created by the federal government that allows consumers to look at their TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports to make sure all the information is accurate. That is how banks or lending institutions pull that knowledge when they're deciding if they're going to give you a loan. So it's good to have that verification. Another thing that these bureaus allow you to do at annualcreditreport.com is to set up a fraud alert or a security freeze. A fraud alert means that if you initiate an application for a credit card, a car, a mortgage, anything to do with finances, they're going to have to, the creditors will have to ask you additional verification to ensure you are who you are. That's a fraud alert. That gives an extra layer of protection. But if you really want to lock yourself down, you set up a security freeze. And that means nobody will initiate any credit on you, including yourself, until you go back to the bureau and release the freeze. It is the most secure way to protect your identity. It's also inconvenient if you're wanting to do something, but I will tell you, if you've been a victim of fraud or identity theft, it is a true peace of mind to have a security freeze. Honestly, I think all of us should have a fraud alert on our bureaus, because just having to have that additional verification is not a bad thing at all, and it will give you peace of mind.
Peace of mind is key
Sure
to
is.
that, right?
Mhm.
And the security freeze, while inconvenient, I have worked with people who have done have a security freeze on their accounts, and it doesn't take them long
Doesn't.
to get that temporarily taken away so that they can initiate what they're doing, and then it goes right back on.
Goes right back on.
So, either one, a fraud alert or security freeze, either one is really setting yourself up to be more secure.
I love that. And at the end, when we talk about resources, I'll highlight the annualcreditreport.com. I keep saying it because when you Google it, other websites come up, but you really want the one and only annualcreditreport.com that really was sanctioned by the federal government, that allows you to do all these extra protocols.
And did you mention that they do help you with identity theft on there?
I know, well, that's how you can do the fraud alerts.
Mhm.
You can put the security freeze, and you can put an alert message that you've been, you can note that you've been a victim of fraud.
But I think don't they also help you if you're a victim, help you through that process?
Yeah,
or
I'm
give
not
you
sure.
tips?
I'm not sure
Okay.
about that.
I was thinking they might, but I
Okay.
could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So what about here? If you're a member here, we actually have some controls in our digital banking as well. And as a matter of fact, before we did this webinar, Sheri and I went into home banking and kind of re-familiarized ourselves with some of the card controls that you can have to put some of alerts that you would get text messages or an email notification if you are under in your debit card, which is good to know if you're under in your checking account at a certain threshold, or if there's a certain spend that has happened that you go ahead and determine. So it gives you additional awareness to make sure that your your Visa and your debit card has not gone into bad hands.
Exactly. And you can do that if you have our credit card, you can, in the same app, you can do
So
both
good.
your debit and your credit.
Well, you know what else I love about that, which I wasn't aware, that if you have a car payment with us or a mortgage payment with us, it will help you give an alert when that payment is due as well.
Mhm.
So there's some really nice functions in there.
Yes.
Yeah, we
So,
kind of geeked out in that, like, oh, I didn't realize it had all of these functionalities in there.
so there's a lot of really good tools on our digital banking site that can help you. In addition to the alerts, you can also check your credit report
Yes, you
there.
can.
So that's one other place that you can look to see, make sure that everything on your credit report belongs to you. Okay, moving on. Sorry,
No, you're
the
fine.
mouse is not working right.
Yeah, it is what it is,
It
right?
is what it is. It's technology.
So were you a victim of a scam? So the Federal Trade Commission is the gold standard. So this is the gold standard of what to do. Our compliance department here always goes back to the FTC. So we are literally giving you the information that is from the Federal Trade Commission.
So, and more resources to help you if you are a victim of identity theft or fraud. The steps to take, make sure you close any accounts that you didn't open, make sure they get closed. Reach out to the credit bureaus. Because one thing that if you dispute anything on your credit report, the credit bureaus have to prove that it was you.
That's right.
If they don't, they have to remove it.
That's right.
But they're not going to be closing those accounts. So you have to make sure that those accounts get closed.
That's right.
Any bogus charges. So the charges on your account, if there were any charges in that account, or if there's anything on your credit report that doesn't belong to you, again, it's really, really important to make sure it's correct.
So now you've got, again, you're going to get a video of this, and I believe we're even going to share the slides. You guys really have this as a really great resource.
Yeah.
I hope y'all never need this. I really do. But to have everything bundled in these slides with these resources so that you guys have them, I think this is really important to know that you have this as a trusted resource.
And more resources. So
Go
ahead.
on.
So these are just a few of the websites that are key to giving you great resources. They're where we got all of our information from. So keep those handy, keep them, maybe you save them into your website on your servers, on your.
Well, now you have all this knowledge and you can share with your friends and family. I mean, now you guys are learning, you're learning a lot about fraud that most consumers just don't know because we get bits and pieces. And now you're kind of getting it all. And of course, there's my annual creditreport.com. It's not only a great resource in case there's a fraud, but it's a great resource for you to be aware, is there a medical collections that doesn't belong there? Is there a charge or a late fee that you're not even aware of that you can dispute? It's how you can make sure everything on your credit report is accurate before you apply for your favorite home. And right now, it's so competitive out there. We want to make sure that you're in the best spot to buy, and looking at annualcreditreport.com on a regular basis can really help you do that.
Yes, it can. This last one, the identitytheft.gov, that one will give you a more detailed list on what to do if you are a victim of a scam. So keep those resources handy. Know that they're available to you to protect you. We want to hear from you. Do you guys have any comments that you want to share? Any questions regarding scams? Any instances that you're not sure if you've been a victim?
Well, and that's okay. I'm actually glad to hear that. Now you have all of this information. We will be emailing this to you. Our information is at the last slide. So we'll share our contact information. If you guys ever have any questions or concerns, that's our email. That's the best numbers to get in touch with us. And we just appreciate that you guys just spent this Thursday evening with us. And really now learn some really good information. Next month, what are we going to talk about next month?
Liz, what are we talking about?
We're going to talk about something next month.
Yeah, we got a topic for you. We'll put it in the email. Can't remember off the top of our
So
head.
we'll be back next month. We're gonna go on hiatus in July because, everybody's on vacation, so enjoy your summer. And then we'll be back in August and we'll get us ready for fall spending. We'll get us ready. I'm gonna say it for the holidays. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, have a great evening, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Chevelle.
you.
Appreciate that.
Bye.